They say that every horror story has a grain of truth to it. Some stories might be exaggerated or fabricated for the sake of scaring people. But there are also some terrifying tales that are so disturbing they could only have come from the darkest pits of hell itself. One such tale is that of the Tiyanak, a demon baby that stalks and kills its victims in the Philippines. Let's explore this story and others like it in today's episode of our channel. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the village, fear began to creep into the hearts of the villagers. It was almost dusk, the witching hour, when the Tiyanak came out to play. For weeks now, the demon baby had been haunting their town, leaving behind a trail of death and despair. No one was safe from its clutches, not the adults nor the children. All were vulnerable to the evil entity that lurked in the darkness. It all started with the disappearance of Maria's youngest son, little Miguel. One minute he was playing outside their hut, the next he vanished into thin air. The villagers searched for him for hours, but by the time they found his body, it was already too late. The demon had claimed another victim, but the story doesn't end there. You see, after the burial, strange things began to happen. People started seeing the ghost of the boy wandering around the village, his eyes hollow and soulless. Some even heard his voice, a blood-curdling scream that echoed in the night. "Mama, help me, Mama." It was then that the elders realized that they were dealing with a Tiyanak, a malevolent spirit that used the bodies of infants as vessels, preying on their innocence and life force. And Miguel's case was far from an isolated incident. In the neighboring village, another family was mourning the loss of their daughter, Isabella. She, too, had been taken by the Tiyanak, her tiny body discovered in a nearby sugarcane field, lifeless and drained of all vitality. Fear turned to panic as more and more children went missing, their bodies bearing the same eerie signs of the Tiyanak's presence. The villagers were desperate. They had to do something to stop the killings. But what? In the Philippines, the belief in the Tiyanak is deeply rooted in folklore and tradition. The term Tiyanak comes from the Filipino word tion, meaning belly button, and anak, meaning child. It refers to a type of demon that possesses pregnant women, tricking them into giving birth to an evil spirit instead of a human baby. These spirits, known as encanto or manananggal, are said to suck the life force out of their victims, causing them to wither away and die. But the terror doesn't end at death. The Tiyanak is said to continue haunting its victims even in the afterlife, preying on their souls and trapping them in a never-ending cycle of torment. To understand this horrifying tale, we must delve deeper into the beliefs and superstitions of the Philippines. In Filipino folklore, the Tiyanak is depicted as a malevolent spirit that can possess a pregnant woman, deceiving her into giving birth to an evil entity rather than a human child. This spirit is believed to target infants because they are more susceptible to its influence. Once inside the womb, the Tiyanak grows and develops alongside the fetus, feeding on its life force until birth. But why does the Tiyanak choose to inhabit infant bodies? According to local beliefs, the answer lies in the spiritual energy of children. They believe that infants possess a unique life force called the lampas, which is more potent and easier to manipulate than that of adults. The Tiyanak seeks to exploit this energy for its own nefarious purposes, using the child's body as a vessel to prey on its family members. Interestingly, the Tiyanak is not always malevolent. In some instances, it is seen as a way for spirits to connect with their living relatives. However, when the Tiyanak's intentions are harmful, it can cause a great deal of suffering for the family. The possessed child may exhibit unusual behavior, such as an insatiable appetite, strange vocalizations, and an aversion to water. As the Tiyanak's influence grows, it may begin to harm those around it, leading to physical illness and even death. The scariest part of this tale is that the Tiyanak is said to be able to manipulate its victims even after death. Those who have encountered the spirit claim that it can possess a person's soul, condemning them to an eternity of suffering. The tormented soul is forced to relive their worst fears and traumas, never finding peace or rest. Now, let's explore how this chilling legend has manifested in real life. Reports of the Tiyanak have been surfacing in various regions of the Philippines, each telling a tale of terror and despair. One of the most famous cases occurred in the town of San Roque, where a series of unexplained deaths and disappearances had the community on edge. Local residents began to suspect the presence of a Tiyanak, a belief that was later confirmed by a psychic healer. According to the healer, the spirit was targeting infants, using their life force to sustain itself. To protect the remaining children, the town had to perform an elaborate ritual to banish the entity. The ceremony involved the use of holy water, religious icons and incantations, all designed to drive out the evil spirit and restore peace to the community. While the story may sound like a scene from a horror movie, it's a reality for many Filipinos who live in constant fear of the Tiyanak's presence. The legend serves as a reminder of the unseen forces that may be lurking around us, preying on the innocent and leaving behind a trail of sorrow and despair. Another chilling case was reported in the remote village of Calog. Here, a young mother found her baby boy lifeless in his crib, his tiny body drained of all color. The distraught mother immediately sought the help of a local shaman who diagnosed the case as a typical Tiyanak possession. The shaman explained that the baby's soul had been sucked dry by the evil spirit, leaving behind an empty shell. To prevent further tragedy, the village elders ordered the construction of a makeshift tomb, sealing the baby's body inside to prevent the spirit from escaping. The villagers then performed a series of rituals, including the burning of incense and the recitation of prayers to appease the restless spirit. While the measures taken may seem extreme, they are part of a long-standing tradition aimed at protecting the living from the dead. The legend of the Tiyanak continues to cast a shadow of fear over the Philippines, serving as a warning to all parents to safeguard their children from the clutches of this evil spirit. So when dusk began to fall, the villagers knew they had to take action. The elders, armed with religious icons and holy water, began a ritual to drive out the evil spirit. The rest of the villagers formed a circle around them, their faces etched with worry and fear. As the ceremony reached its climax, the possessed child began to thrash about, his body contorting in unnatural ways. Suddenly, with a blood-curdling scream, the Tiyanak was banished from the child's body. Exhausted but relieved, the villagers watched as the sun set, hoping that the nightmare was finally over. But they were wrong, for the Tiyanak, once driven out, didn't go far. It simply waited for the perfect moment to strike again. And that moment came sooner than they expected. Meanwhile, a new family had moved into the village. They were an unsuspecting couple with a newborn baby girl. Little did they know they were walking into a nightmare. The Tiyanak, sensing a new source of life force, wasted no time in claiming its next victim. That night, as the family slept, the Tiyanak slipped into the baby's crib and began draining her of her vital energy. By morning, the infant was lifeless, her tiny body cold and unresponsive. The villagers were horrified. Could this be the end of it? Would the terror ever stop? Determined to break the cycle of death and despair, the villagers turned to a more extreme measure. They called upon a powerful Babalon, a traditional Filipino healer and spiritual leader, to help them. The Babalon, after performing a series of rituals and incantations, revealed the extent of the curse placed upon the village by the vengeful Tiyanak. He explained that to lift the curse, they would need to conduct a mass exorcism, banishing the spirit from the village once and for all. The exorcism was a long and arduous process, involving the purification of the village, the blessing of the inhabitants, and the release of the trapped souls. It was a test of the villagers' faith and resilience as they faced their deepest fears and confronted the evil head-on. As the ceremony progressed, the atmosphere grew increasingly intense. The Babalon, with his powerful incantations, confronted the Tiyanak directly, commanding it to leave the village and never return. The villagers, united in their purpose, chanted and prayed, their voices echoing the Babalon's commands. The Tiyanak, sensing its power waning, lashed out in a final act of defiance, causing chaos and terror among the villagers. But the exorcism continued, pushing the evil spirit further and further away. Finally, as the sun rose, the Babalon declared victory. The Tiyanak had been banished from the village. The villagers, exhausted but triumphant, celebrated their newfound freedom, grateful for the lifting of the curse. And so the legend of the Tiyanak in the village serves as a reminder of the importance of community and faith in the face of adversity. The spirit may have been vanquished, but the memory of its terror continues to linger. A cautionary tale whispered around hearths and home. Do you believe in the Tiyanak? Share your thoughts below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and share for more spine-tingling tales. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you in the next one.